What's going on, guys? This is Lawrence with Go Heels Tactical. Today we're talking about the P320 and how you can bring it to the next level. So with me today, I have a P320 RXP. This particular P320 comes with the Romeo 1 Pro already on it. It's got a little bit of difference on this one. This particular model came with the standard X frame. It's been swapped out with the Wilson Combat frame. In my opinion, this is probably one of the best upgrades you can make to your 320. One, the contouring is slightly different than the X frame. It's got a little bit more beefier grip. You know, it's kind of set for people with medium hands. You know, smaller hand people will still be able to grip it properly, but if you have a really small hand, you might want to stay with the X grip. It'll be more comfortable for you. But if you have a medium-sized hand to a little bit larger hand, this is a compact. So if you have really large mitts, then it's not going to work for you. You might want to go with the P320 carry or a full size. But for me, I have a medium-sized hand. I use this for carry every day. But anyway, going through, we have the Wilson Combat frame. We have the Romeo 1 Pro. The RXP came with suppressor height sights, right? So those are the kind of things that come with it. What we've added to this particular one is the frame. We've also added an agency trigger. You know, with that, a lot of people are used to, you know, Glock, Springfield. Everybody's got a blade safety for the most part. The standard P320 comes with the flat-faced trigger with no blade safety. You know, and for some people, that's just kind of a no-go for them. I know in the past, you know, we've had the issues with the 320. If you drop it, you know, basically the mass of the trigger would go back, you know, make the gun go off. Those issues have been corrected by Sig. But for the sake of the argument, you know, adding the agency trigger, one, gives you the blade safety, but it also gives you a little bit better feel of the trigger. You know, you got a little bit of a smoother take up. The break is a little more crisp than the stock trigger, in my opinion. And then the reset, if you do, you know, this is all based on you doing the trigger and the springs that come with the kit. But the reset will be a little bit stronger. The stock reset's a little bit weak. So when you change out the springs from agency, it kind of makes that reset a little bit stronger. So it just, overall, it's not a huge improvement, but it does a significant enough where you will notice the difference. If we want to get a close-up on that, this is the agency trigger here. You have the blade. Now also too, there's been some concern from some people that, you know, with the agency trigger having the blade, it's kind of on the lower side of the trigger. So potentially, if you were to grab your pistol and your trigger finger were to come high, like super high on the trigger, the blade safety could potentially be caught and not pull. Now in our experience, test firing this firearm, we didn't experience that at all. If you have a natural grip, you know, you're most likely gonna want to come toward the bottom. Now anything's possible, but it is possible that it could get stuck, but we feel it's very unlikely. Now it all depends on how you train. If you train, you know, in a different way, maybe your finger always rides high, that could be an issue for you. If it is, you know, maybe look into a different trigger. There's lots of triggers out there with or without the safety blade. One of the other things that we've added to this particular model is we'll come over here and look. This is set up for a left-hander because I'm left-handed. But right here we have a Springer Precision mag extension release. This one here has a paddle, not just an extension. So it does have a paddle. And this is great, especially if you have a medium-sized hand. With me having a full proper take-up on the grip, I can easily depress and release the magazine, right? So that was just a nice touch. I like Springer Precision. They make a good product, and it's definitely a must. You know, a lot of times we don't really think about stuff like that, but especially if you're in a situation where you need to have a reload, you know, you need to be able to do that efficiently and effectively. So something like that is going to really, you know, bring your utility use of your firearm up from if it's just the stock trigger, or excuse me, the stock mag release. The last thing we've added is down here. This is a Henning Group +3 on our magazine here. It works with all compact size SIGs. It gives you 18 rounds total, 15 standard plus the 3, and then you have +1. So you look at 18 + 1, 19 total rounds. The extension is not too big. It basically gives you almost the size of a full-size frame with that added. But I'm always been a proponent of compacts because sometimes I may want something with a shorter grip to it, a shorter frame, but I want to have the ability, if I have to add an extension to get extra rounds if need be. Now, generally speaking, I carry this one as my spare, and I'll carry the flush mag as my go-to initially. That creates less of a print when I conceal carry. But overall, the gun's great. I haven't had any issues with this one. One thing I did have an issue with, but I corrected it, is that the RXP comes with a slightly different recoil spring than the standard P320 X Compact. For whatever reason, the RXP version, we found that it somewhat binds as you pull the slide to the rear, which if you have a tight magazine, a full magazine, brand new, it's putting a lot of pressure on the slide. So that alone creates friction. And then if that spring were to bind up at any point, then that could potentially have you short cycle and basically not put a new round to the chamber after the first shot, which did happen to us. Now, once we changed that guide rod to the standard X Compact guide rod, not the RXP, once we did that, we had zero failures whatsoever. So, you know, looking at this gun, this is a good setup for concealed carry, and these little extras will actually bring this P320 to the next level, so you can shoot effectively and, you know, make the most out of your shooting experience.